Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, welcome back to another video. It is your host, Ordinary Guy, back at it again. And today, let's talk about that Switch 2 pre-orders. The Switch 2 pre-orders is exactly what I expected. I was literally, my initial plan was always to try to pre-order at GameStop because I have like an Xbox and the Switch that I want to trade in. To save money and just kind of like, just kind of trade into your pre-order so I don't have to spend the expensive Switch 2 prices. Whatever is remaining from my trade-ins, I'll just pay the difference. But yeah, so I was literally on the computer coding with a friend, and then we both was like, oh, pre-orders for the Switch 2 is at midnight, and at the time it was like 2 hours away. So we were just hanging out and vibing until it finally hit midnight, and we were counting down like seconds before it hit. And the minute it hit midnight, we had GameStop open in one tab, Walmart open on one tab, we had Target open on one tab, we had Best Buy open on one tab. I eventually realized I forgot that GameStop, they were opening pre-orders at 11 a.m. in the morning, but everyone else was like opening up pre-orders at midnight. So the minute it hit midnight, we're like refreshing our tabs and like trying to get in, and it was already a mess. So many pre-order, like I guess so many people were like pre-ordering it all at once. So just like how the PS5 was, the Switch 2 was. Like, it was crashing. I will even argue though that the PS5 was even harder to get, because the Switch 2, we eventually ended up getting, but it was harder. It was still a struggle. Everything was a mess. Like you're trying to refresh, you're clicking add to cart, it's not working, it's saying error. When you finally get it to cart, you're trying to like put in your information as fast as possible. Thankfully, I had some of my information like address and email, stuff like that, on my computer. So, and even with that, it would still say error and wouldn't confirm purchase. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then when you go to Walmart was also like odd because they put you on this line or this queue waiting to be able to get the Switch 2, but they didn't do a good job like sending you to an actual queue, like or an actual page where you felt like you were waiting in line, and it would tell you, okay, like what place in line you are. It just kind of like took you to the screen. I was just like, you're online. I'm like, all right, but how do I know that I'm about to be next? Or it just felt kind of odd. And not to mention, I was on that screen for forever and nothing was going on. Even when I refreshed and try to go back to it, nothing was happening. I don't know what's going on. And then you go to Best Buy, and Best Buy, for whatever reason, they didn't even go live yet. So I was just kind of like, what's going on? Aren't they supposed to go live at midnight like everybody else? And then we went to Target, and Target I felt like was the best place to possibly get a better chance at getting a Switch 2. However, a lot of people I've heard on the computer got a pre-order for, at Target, and then moments later got an email saying that their order has been canceled due to some type of error. So that was pretty crazy. I got lucky. So I think within 15 minutes in of trying to get to Switch 2, I was lucky to get one at Target, so that was crazy. But I was trying to get a second one for my girlfriend. So after I got one at Target, most places you can only get one Switch per order, per account. So I had to go try to get it at either Best Buy or Walmart. And then I think maybe at this time when I finally got one at Walmart, it was probably like 1 o'clock. So imagine like you're clicking and refreshing and opening multiple duplicate tabs of trying to get one. And it was saying, sometimes it was saying it was sold out, and then like maybe 15 minutes later, it'll come back. So in my experience of trying to get pre-orders online where it's very popular and the server is busy and everyone is struggling, A lot of people think that if it says sold out or if it's busy or if it's giving errors, they tend to quit after maybe 15 minutes and they just feel like, oh, I can't get one. But in order to get one, you have to sit there for an hour, maybe even 2 hours, and truly refresh, have multiple tabs open, click the button over and over, refresh the page over and over, and you got to keep fighting and trying just to get it. Now, given that I'm a gamer and given that I just love just tech and gaming in general, just the process of trying to get to Switch 2, even though it's chaotic, a part of me kind of love it. I love the feeling of like, all right, I'm fighting with other gamers. I'd like that it's a memory and an experience for gamers that like truly love Nintendo or PlayStation or Xbox or whatever. You know, like it was just a fun experience. Like when I first got my PS5, I was struggling online to pre-order. I think I got my PS5 within an hour, and then I had to help 3 of my friends get PS5s in the times the pre-orders were out, and like I was struggling to help them, and they were struggling on their end. And luckily we all got one, but it was so crazy. The Switch 2 wasn't as bad as the PS5, and granted the PS5 came out in COVID days, so it was even worse. So that's one thing. But the Switch 2, it was easier to get. Even my friend, she was able to get one. Maybe, I don't know. She took a while to get one. I was lucky to get mine in about 15 minutes, and then the second one I probably got it like around 1 o'clock. She got hers maybe before the second one, before my second one. She probably got hers maybe like 45 minutes in, maybe. I can't recall the time exactly, but I just knew that we were definitely working hard to get to Switch 2. It wasn't like you just take 5 minutes, you order it, it's done, which is crazy. You would think it's crazy because you would think it's just a pre-order, you know? But yeah, it was a mess, but I thought it was fun. I think it's a memory that you could remember. Like, man, I remember when I got that Switch 2 and I was fighting to get one, and then I finally got one. You feel rewarded after all the work you put in trying to get to Switch 2. So I got a Switch 2 pre-order at, and by the way, both Switches were the Mario bundle, because no one wants to spend $80 for a Mario game that's only 23 gigabytes. Let's just be real. But the plan for me wasn't to just pre-order online, because normally when you pre-order online, you have to pay the full price. You know, whether you use Affirm or Klarna or a credit card or just pay it outright, you have to like use your you know, for the most part, you normally pay full price. They normally don't have options for like Affirm or Klarna to pay to like have a payment plan type of thing. So, since I had games to trade in, I truly wanted to get it at GameStop, because if you get it at GameStop, I've had issues with shipping. I had ordered 2 controllers that I have not received through shipping. So I wanted to make sure my Switch 2 comes on time and no shipping problems coming to my house. So I wanted to pre-order the Switch 2 at GameStop so I can go in person and pick it up and all this kind of stuff. Not to mention, GameStop is having a midnight release for the Switch 2, and I just feel like that's just bringing back the nostalgia. It's bringing back, you know, just the fun times of being a gamer and being excited for something like the Switch 2. And I love these moments because when you're playing video games by yourself, you don't get to see community like that. But I love moments like this when we have like midnight release and stuff like that, because the community of gamers that love gaming and Nintendo and the Switch 2, and they're excited, they all come together, we're having great conversations, even if you might never see them again. But yeah, it was great. So what I ended up doing was I just wanted to secure 2 Switches online, but I knew that I could always cancel them anytime I want, because I wanted to physically get them. Because what I wanted me and my girlfriend to pre-order Switches at GameStop so that we can both come together. And this is an experience you're gonna get that's rare, right? Because the Switch 2 came out 8 years after the Switch. So let's just say they come out with a Switch 3. We're not seeing a Switch 3 for the next maybe 7 to 8 years. You know what I'm saying? So this is like a once every generation or gaming generation thing to have. So like this is an experience that we're not gonna have very often. So she loves Nintendo, I love Nintendo. and I thought it'd be a really good thing to come together and go to the midnight release and be nerds together, be Nintendo nerds together, and get our Switch 2, you know, and just be excited, like, you know, opening it up and playing Mario Kart together. You know what I'm saying? I just think that would be really fun. And then, you know, looking forward to future games to come. And I really hope they have games, because I feel like right now, I'm not gonna lie, the games that we have for the launch titles are lacking. You know, like, I feel like they should have had a better lineup, but we're gonna have fun with Mario Kart. But at the same time, you kind of want more options of the type of games you like, you know. But we have to wait for the other games to come out. You know, like I want to play Donkey Kong Bonanza. That's like my most anticipated game on the Nintendo Switch 2, but that's not coming out until July. So, but I feel like that should have been a launch title in my opinion. So what I ended up doing, which is another thing that I think is fun for gamers, is I went to GameStop in the morning. My GameStop opened at 11 a.m. I went to GameStop. I left my house to go to GameStop at 9 a.m. in the morning, just so I can wait online until they open to make sure I secure a pre-order. So I had called GameStop a couple of days before the pre-order date, and I asked them if there is a limit to the pre-orders. I was told no, but I saw something on Twitter from Wario64. Shout out to Wario64. If you want any deals or anything to do with video games and stuff like that, he will have info and deals on his Twitter. So check him out. But he posted something about a GameStop having limited orders, and I'm like, whoa. And then it was a picture of like a note that had like limited amount of Mario Kart bundles and limited amount of regular Switch 2 bundles. And I'm like, no way. So last minute, like an hour before GameStop closed, my GameStop, I called them and asked if they had a limit, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, we do. I found out they had about 50 Nintendo Switch pre-orders, only 50. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go there on time and hope to get online to get one. And then later when I got there, I found out that they had 39 Mario Bundle Switch 2s and 20 regular Switch 2s. So in total, there was only 59 Switches. And everyone wants the bundle. So if you really want the bundle to save money and get it for $50, there was only 39. So I had to make sure I get there on time to be 39th online to try to get one. But everything worked out. I ended up getting online at like 9:22 a.m. So I had to wait a little bit over an hour and a half. And I ended up being 20th online. Which is kind of crazy, because if I waited any longer, who knows what number I would actually be, because a lot of people started lining up behind me, which was kind of crazy. So the fact that I was 20th online, that secured that I was going to get one for me and my girlfriend. Now, you're only allowed to get one Switch per account. So I was able to get one for my girl because she has a pro account for GameStop as well. However, I was also kind of lucky, because when I finally got inside, the lady was like, "Hell, why is she not here?" I'm like, "Well, it's Thursday and she's at work. I'm just trying to help her pick her up." And you know, I was told online that I can get one through her account. You know, but luckily she was nice and she wasn't trying to be hard about it or rough about it. So she ended up allowing me to pre-order. But you know, you don't want people online to see that you were able to pre-order 2 Nintendo Switches. So I had to hide the receipts before going outside. It was pretty crazy, but I was able to get in. I was the 4th. They let 5 people in at a time. I was the 5th group of 5 to go in. But however, I had my Xbox Series S to trade in. Let's be real, everything is an Xbox. So my PS5 is an Xbox. So I don't need an Xbox, right? So I traded my Xbox along with the extra controller, and I think I ended up saving $260, which is almost half the Switch. So that saved me a lot of money, because I never used my Xbox. I only played the Nintendo and the PS5. So yeah. But the lady was like, I was when I was last in line of my group. So when it was finally my turn, I apologized, because I was the only person that had something to trade in towards the Switch 2. She was like, "Oh, great," you know. And then the lady, she had to scan all the stuff that I bought for the Xbox to like put it in. And then something happened in the system where it messed up and she had to do it all over again. Checking the controllers, scanning the Xbox, all of that. But finally, I was able to get the pre-orders, and yeah, it was good. But the experience was fun because when I was online for the hour and a half, I had conversations with two gentlemen online, and they were cool people. They were friendly, and we had conversations about the Switch, Nintendo. I ended up having a Naruto shirt on, so we started talking about Naruto and a whole bunch of different stuff. And then even my friend called me, asked me how the line is and everything, and I was just updating her about what happened. And it was an experience for sure, you know. But I think overall the experience was fun for me. I love the fact that I was up late midnight, you know, with the community of gamers trying to get a Switch 2, and it was fun. And then now I pre-ordered essentially four Switches, you know. But when I was talking to the guys on the line, they were like, "Are you gonna sell the other two?" So I'm like, "Oh, I have 4, so I can sell the other 2 and probably double the price. Maybe sell it for $800." But then I was just like, I know what it's like being on the other end of not being able to get a Switch or get, you know, a big gaming console because the scalpers and bots that are taking it from genuine gamers. So I didn't want to do that. So all I did was I came home. I thought about it because it would be extra money, and I definitely need the money. But in the end, I decided to just cancel the orders so that 2 other gamers out there could just enjoy possibly getting a Switch 2, you know, since I canceled them. And then I'm looking forward to June 5th, where I can go to GameStop and get to Switch with my girlfriend and like just have fun together, just like opening it up and like playing Mario Kart together, you know. And even when she's at home, we actually could play online now. So it's just gonna be a fun experience that I'm looking forward to playing and doing. It's just gonna be great. So yeah, so that was my pre-order experience. It's exactly what I expected it to be, because it's a popular console. Everyone wants it. The Switch was very successful, so I wouldn't be surprised if people want to Switch 2. It's a more powerful product, and I'm looking forward to the games in the future and like people's thoughts and opinions, you know, about the Switch 2 when they get their hands on it, you know. And I can't wait to do an unboxing with it. It's gonna be fun. I'll try to record my experience going to GameStop, because I didn't I wish I had recorded, you know, what I did going over there. But next time I'll try my best to see if I can record what's, you know, my experience at GameStop. But yeah, so tell me what your experience was with the if you were trying to pre-order a Switch 2, what was your experience? Tell it in the comments. So what's your thoughts and opinion about this video, what I said, you know? But thank you guys for tuning in. This was my pre-order story for the Switch 2. And, you know, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.